Hey there folks, Sasha here. Welcome to my vlog. I am on the second day of the CLDT, the Croatian Long Distance Trail, Section C. I didn't start at the beginning. I started on the northwest corner of Croatia, and I'll be hiking, hopefully if all goes well, the length of the country. Why am I doing this trail? I had been spending some time hiking in Hungary. I basically spent half of August, all of September hiking in Hungary, and I ran out of days that I could be in the Schengen area, but I felt like the reasons for my hike, where I'm looking inside and doing some work inside, weren't finished, so I started looking around to see what other trails existed that were outside the Schengen zone. And as I hear many tourists arrive in Croatia, I found this one, and I thought it was quite a romantic idea to hike the length of the country from top to bottom.
To get to the Section C trailhead, I took a bus from Zagreb to the city of Rijeka. I found it to be an adorable city with a mix of old and new architecture. You can tell it's a place where people live, not where tourists hang out. This is a place called the Music House where I stayed for the night. It's on Airbnb. Philip and Miljenka were awesome hosts, and they have lots of instruments. This is the window to my bedroom, where I pulled out all my gear, did a final pack and shed, and here I am a couple hours before my bus the next morning, stuffing everything back in my pack. I kind of like hanging out in my underwear, if you can't tell. That's a Seat to Summit dry bag stuff sack. Might as well put on some clothes, I guess. And my backpack is a Gossamer Gear Gorilla 2017 model with a detachable brain. Here we go. All the stuff going in, my cooking set, and fussing with toiletries and electronics, and my phone, of course. By this point, I'm pretty rushed, and I'm just shoving all the food in the bag to get going and make it to the bus station.
Okay, here at the Rijeka bus terminal, waiting for a bus that leaves in how many minutes? 6 minutes at the platform 5, what the lady said. Let's hope she's right. I'm taking the bus now to Umag, which is a few miles from the trailhead, and I was connected with someone who lives there who will be putting me up for the night. First trail angel along the way. He'll be picking me up later in the day, and I'll be heading off to start tomorrow. The bus did arrive at that platform, so a few hours later, here I am arriving in Umag and walking to my first glimpse of the Adriatic Sea. It's a sea, not an ocean, I learned. So don't forget that. We don't have those in America. I chilled at this spot for a couple hours until Goran came and picked me up and drove me to the town of Savudrija. Goran actually walked all the way from Jordan to Croatia along the refugee route and wrote a book about it. Here's the map of the places he walked. The next morning, we drove a couple miles to this lighthouse, which is the trailhead for Section C, and it's officially day 1 on the trail. The first few miles of the trail, we're walking down the coast through resorts and campgrounds. It was October, so off-season was kind of starting. Not many people were around, although you still had a few, and it was still very nice out. Short sleeve weather still. At this spot, I'm kind of confused because I'm supposed to cross over from one resort to another, and I'm having trouble finding where to go. But I find my way back to the coast, and it's really pretty, very rocky, not much sand. It's a very touristy area. Lots and lots and lots of resorts, one after the other. Here I am coming back into Umag, which is about 5 miles down the trail. Here's my official day 1 on the hike.
photo, selfie, which we'll compare at the end to get a before and after.
I find it kind of funny that somebody screwed up the "you are here" point on the sign. We are not there. We are Duba. Here. Right about here.
And some more pretty coastline. So this is a huge camping complex that you walk through. I found it interesting because I have a Dutch friend who has all these electronics and all this stuff he takes to his campground, and I couldn't figure out how he gets electricity. Well, this is how. They have electric boxes at the campsites. Maybe this is common knowledge, but I'd never seen it. The place also has glamping and mobile homes, which I guess would make for a really, really, really busy place in the summertime. After the town of Cardigador, there's a little supermarket, and then the trail turns inland, follows the road for a little while, and then starts taking smaller roads through these really cute farming towns. We have some chickens! Hello, chickens! And finally, some camping. I set up camp next to a field that didn't seem like anyone was going to bother with. And thus concludes day one. After a gloriously uneventful night, I followed a road like this one for a couple miles and arrived at the town of Bertonula. It is an Italian community, very cute and historical. And while I was having my coffee, this little guy popped out of, I think, the brain of my pack because it was pretty wet and foggy the night before. Kind of cute in his own way, I guess. And some acrobatic abilities here hanging on slime that I'd never seen before. Then back on the trail.
Hello to the sheep. Hi, guys. Oh. I want to go back inside. Oh, there they go. No, they're not all so jumpy. Hello. Hello.
The rest of the day, the trail went through rural areas like this one, and this one, and then through fields, and along some roads. Beautiful views, beautiful weather. Okay, I don't know where that ER voice came from, but I'll snap out of it. This little caterpillar was on the road. Also a kind I hadn't seen before. And eventually the trail crossed this stream and headed back into foresty area, like this. And I decided to set up camp next to this little stream right here. Well, at this point it's a little stream. Wait until tomorrow morning after the rain. Here I am collecting some water to filter and messing with my Sawyer water filtration system. At this point, I'm realizing that there is a hole in the bag. I've been using these bags for a couple months already, hiking through Hungary. And of course, while I'm paying attention to my phone and not paying attention to what I'm doing, I drop the filter, get it all dirty, and have to start over. Anyway, beside the point. After a long day of hiking, it's dinner time. So my cooking setup is a propane canister with a fire maple little Hornet stove, some of my newly filtered water. I use a rechargeable electric lighter. And the dinner I'm making is a recipe that I developed while I was hiking in Hungary. I add some seasoning to the water, and of course I spill it. Add some more water, which is not part of the recipe. But anyway, once the water is hot, then I add some pasta. I pick the thinnest type of pasta that I can get so that it cooks pretty fast. Really, as soon as I see the water warming up, I add the pasta, and then once it's boiling, it's cooked. The water's boiling here, so then what I do is I add instant potatoes to thicken the soup. I know, potatoes and pasta together, well, works for me. Pretty thick and hearty, filling. I like it as a camp dinner. Keep adding potatoes until it's my desired thickness. And then I add some sausage. And if I have it, I add some cheese as well. And voila! Here's a view of my beautiful tent. It's a Gossamer Gear the One, and my poorly selected campsite because it is too close to the stream, as I soon learned. And thus concludes day 2.
It's morning of day 3, and last night was an absolute downpour. That little stream has now turned into a bigger stream, a little waterfall, and coming from that way, there was some big creature that scared me out of my wits. I don't know if it was a bear. I hope it wasn't a bear.
I will interject, it was not a bear, but a wild boar. Thank goodness.
For about 20 minutes, I was shaking, hoping, praying that he wouldn't come tearing into my tent because I had food in there. I was told to store my food in the tent and that the animals wouldn't be aggressive about it, and so far I'm okay, but it scared the living daylights out of me. And then it started to rain even harder again, so I couldn't hear him anymore. But then I fell asleep again. It was fine. Coming down with a cold today. Wow. I've had it coming on, but it actually the cold actually hit today. I hope it doesn't get too bad so I don't have to take any time off my hike, but
spoiler, it does get bad, and I lose several days on the trail, as we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, off to day 3.
This beautiful critter ran into the rocks before I could get my camera out, but you can still sort of see him there. I realized my campsite was a pretty poor choice because maybe twice as much water and I might have gotten flooded, which is not fun or safe to happen. On the move again. Some 4x4 back roads to get out of the forest. Another really cute little farming town. More chickens! Run, chickens, run! Run, run, run! Back on a road for cars, not for people, but not too long. And you eventually pop up for some more really pretty views along the road a little more. Picnic table, and here I am showing you how my pack turns into a drying rack after a rainy day. And the trail goes through more of these little gravel roads, an old bridge that's really cool with a nice view. Here you can see it. Trees are turning, as you can see, and another pretty view. Now, when I find a lookout, I have a hard time resisting not camping on it. I really like these things for some reason. Elevated up in the ground, makes you feel a little bit higher up. So, I decided to do something I'd never done before. A tarp pitch, which turned out to be kind of ridiculous, just so you're not expecting anything fancy. Here's a beautiful view of the sunset and the town of Moravun, which is a medieval town up on a hill. Fussing with my tarp poncho, ready to make the most ridiculous tarp pitch you've ever seen, with knots that I kind of made up on the spot. My idea is to hang the thing on that main string and then tie up the two corners so that it's like a reverse L kind of shape. Anyway, I know it looks ridiculous. Pretty bow though. Yeah, endless amount of fussing. and tying too many strings too many places with knots that don't work. What the heck am I doing? Using my hiking poles to hold the corner up, which is completely unnecessary, but it's well fastened to the wooden pole grid thing there. And now the other side. Same ridiculousness. And it's done. Testing it out. I guess this will do. A tour of the purple rope and kinda excessive knots. The sky is pretty though. And the spot is nice. Day 4 starts with a beautiful sky and very romantic looking fog at the foot of the mountain. My modified tarp pitch. And another romantic view. Fog is nasty at night, but pretty in the morning. That's the town of Morovun. And here I've got my breakfast set up. Hot water's coming. Oatmeal waiting for the hot water. And coffee waiting for the hot water. Today is officially declared a sick day. I had a cold coming on ever since I started, and last night it hit me really hard. So I did a tarp pitch in this little area here, and everything that had access to air got soaked. I'd never done a tarp pitch before, so I learned that if the middle sags, then it will drip on. If you've got a roof that sags, then it'll drip on you. So I made a modification during the night with my tent pole. It was nice to know that my layers were nice and toasty. I wasn't too cold, except for breathing the cold and damp air. And before continuing on, we need a day of hot soup and actual sleep, because the other night also with the rain and the wild boar, I didn't sleep great. But yeah, alrighty. Okay, I just went inside this tunnel and came back out because it's really creeping me out. And it seems kind of long. I don't like this idea, but we're gonna do it. Here we go. 222 meters. Oh my god. Lord. Really? Do I have to go through this thing? Ugh. Okay, no tunnel. Because it looks like it takes you through and past Morovun, and I want to go to the town. Oh, scary thing. Before going up the hill, there's a little shop where I did some grocery shopping. I got ingredients for soup and a snack. Apple, fresh fruit's always nice. Here's some views of the little town up on the top of the hill. The streets all go like spiraling up. It's kind of cool, but Google Maps is useless. Google Maps sends you like down a ravine. Doesn't work. This is the center of town at the very top of the hill. And spiraling back down to the apartment that I booked for the night. And in a heated apartment, wearing a down jacket because I'm pretty feverish, here I am making some soup. I was pretty serious on that day about the soup thing. One of the things that I really changed in while trekking is my enthusiasm when having access to a real kitchen. I don't think I've ever cooked for myself when I've been sick like this before. And here's the finished product. It was tasty. On to day 6. Yes, I know. I skipped day 5 because I spent a second night in Motovun. I was still pretty sick. It turned into a flu. Finally, continuing on. Some beautiful views that you're seeing here of the trail. My end point that day is the town of Pazin, which is just a 12-mile hike and a pretty day, so I wasn't feeling 100%, but I had a place to stay there, and prices were going up pretty high in Motovun, so I was motivated to get a move on. Really, really pretty day. Again, I was spoiled for weather this entire week. You can see a hunter's perch over there. The trail that day was not too challenging, and it went through really pretty hilltops, so I enjoyed it even so. Cute little cluster of houses here that actually didn't have to pass through, but I missed my turn, so I did.
Approaching the town of Pazin.
And it's the end of day 6 and of this first video, which covered the first 50 miles of Section C on the CLDT, bringing me to the town of Pazin. So, subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the next one where the adventure continues.